Los Angeles, March 1974. Children's Hospital. Los Angeles, 4th floor. Pediatric Oncology Ward. Room 412. Sarah Martinez was 8 years old. She had acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Stage 4, terminal. She'd been fighting for 2 years. Chemotherapy, radiation, clinical trials. Nothing worked. The cancer was winning. Her doctor, Dr. Patricia Chen, had called her parents in that afternoon. "I'm sorry. There's nothing more we can do. She has maybe 2-3 days, a week at most." Sarah's mother, Maria, collapsed into a chair. Her father, Roberto, stood frozen. "Is she in pain?" Maria whispered. "We're managing it. She's comfortable. But you should say goodbye. And if there's anything she wants, anything at all, now is the time." That evening, Maria sat by Sarah's bed. Sarah was awake, weak, but awake. "Mommy, am I going to die?" Maria's heart shattered, but she'd promised herself she wouldn't lie to her daughter. Not now. "Yes, mija, soon." Sarah nodded. She'd known. She was 8, but she'd known for weeks. "Can I ask for something?" "Anything, baby. Anything in the world." Sarah looked at the wall, at a poster her older brother had brought her. Dean Martin, smiling? Cool. The poster said, "That's amore." "I want to meet Dean Martin." Maria's breath caught. Of all the things Sarah could ask for, a trip to Disneyland, a special toy, time with family. She wanted to meet Dean Martin. "Why Dean Martin, mija?" Sarah smiled, small smile, weak. "Because when I hear his songs, I don't feel sick. I feel happy, like everything's okay." Maria squeezed her daughter's hand. "Okay, baby, I'll try." That night at 9 p.m., Maria called information, got the number for NBC Studios, where the Dean Martin Show was produced. A receptionist answered, "NBC Studios. Hi, my name is Maria Martinez. My daughter is in Children's Hospital. She's dying, and she wants to meet Dean Martin. I know it's impossible. I know he's busy. But I had to try." There was a pause. "Hold on, please." 5 minutes passed. Maria waited, expected nothing. Then a man's voice, older, kind. "Mrs. Martinez? This is Tom Lavolsi, Dean Martin's manager. Tell me about your daughter." Maria told him everything. Sarah's age, her cancer, her prognosis, how she loved Dean's music. "She has maybe 3 days. I know Mr. Martin is busy, but if there's any way, even just a phone call, anything." Tom was quiet for a moment. "Dean visits the Children's Hospital every week, usually on Tuesdays, but I'll talk to him." "Thank you. Thank you so much." Maria hung up, allowed herself to hope, just a little. At 11 p.m. that same night, Dean Martin was at home, reading, getting ready for bed. His phone rang. "Tom." "Dean, sorry to call so late, but I just got a call. 8-year-old girl at Children's Hospital, terminal, days left. Wants to meet you." Dean sat up. "What's her name?" "Sarah Martinez, room 412, pediatric oncology." "I'll be there in an hour." "Dean, it's 11 p.m. You can go tomorrow morning, or Tuesday, like usual." "Tom, she might not have until tomorrow morning. I'll go now." Dean hung up, got dressed, grabbed his guitar, got in his car. At midnight, Dean Martin walked through the main entrance of Children's Hospital Los Angeles. The night nurse at the desk looked up, did a double take. "Mr. Martin?" "Hi, I'm here to see Sarah Martinez, room 412. "It's midnight. Visiting hours ended at 9 o'clock. Dean smiled, gentle. "I know, but I heard she wanted to see me, and I'm here." The nurse hesitated, then picked up the phone. Called Dr. Chen at home. "Dr. Chen, I'm so sorry to wake you, but Dean Martin is here. At the hospital. He wants to see Sarah Martinez." Pause. "Yes, Dean Martin, the singer, right now, midnight." Another pause. "Okay, I'll tell him." She hung up, looked at Dean. "Dr. Chen is coming in. She'll be here in 20 minutes. You can wait in the family lounge." "Can I see Sarah now?" "Her parents are with her. They're saying goodbye." Dean's face softened. "I understand. I'll wait." Dr. Patricia Chen arrived at 12:20 a.m. She found Dean in the lounge, guitar case beside him. "Mr. Martin, I'm Dr. Chen. Thank you for coming. Please call me Dean. Is Sarah awake?" She was sleeping, but her mother will want to wake her. This is her dying wish." They walked together down the hallway, past rooms full of sick children, past medical equipment, past families sleeping in chairs because they couldn't leave their children's sides. They reached room 412. Dr. Chen knocked softly. opened the door. Maria and Roberto looked up, exhausted, grief-stricken. Dr. Chen stepped in. "Mr. and Mrs. Martinez, someone's here to see Sarah." Dean walked in. Maria's hand flew to her mouth. Roberto stood up, speechless. "Mrs. Martinez, I'm Dean. I heard Sarah wanted to meet me. I hope it's okay that I came." Maria started crying. "You came. You actually came." "Of course I came. Can I see her?" Maria looked at Sarah, sleeping, so small in the hospital bed. "Sarah, baby, wake up. Someone's here." Sarah's eyes opened, slowly. She looked confused. Then she saw Dean. Her eyes went wide. "It's really you." Dean walked to her bedside, knelt down so he was at her level. "Hi, Sarah. I heard you wanted to meet me." "I did. I do. But how? It's nighttime." "Well, I figured you might not want to wait until morning, so I came now. Is that okay?" Sarah nodded, tears in her eyes. "It's okay." Dean smiled. "Good, because I brought my guitar. And I heard you like my songs. I love your songs. They make me happy. Then let's see if we can make you happy tonight." Dean stayed for 6 hours. He sat in the chair next to Sarah's bed, played guitar, sang every song she requested. That's amor. Everybody loves somebody. Memories are made of this. Ain't that a kick in the head? Between songs, he told her stories about Frank Sinatra, how Frank was afraid of flying but pretended he wasn't, about Sammy Davis Jr., how Sammy could do impressions of anyone, about Jerry Lewis, how they used to play pranks on each other during shows. Sarah laughed, weak laugh, but real. Maria and Roberto sat in the corner, watching, crying quietly. Around 2 a.m., Sarah asked, "Can you read to me?" "Of course. What do you want me to read?" She pointed to a book on the table. "Charlotte's Web, my favorite." Dean picked up the book, opened it, started reading. He read for 2 hours, his voice gentle, soothing. When he got to the part where Charlotte dies, Sarah started crying. "It's so sad." Dean put down the book, held her hand. "It is sad. But you know what Charlotte taught us?" "What?" "That love doesn't end when someone dies. Wilbur never forgot Charlotte. He carried her memory with him forever. And because he remembered her, she never really left." Sarah looked at him. "Will people remember me?" Dean's eyes got wet. "Sarah, I'm going to remember you for the rest of my life. I promise." She smiled, small smile. "Really?" "Really." Around 4 a.m., Sarah's pain medication kicked in. She got drowsy. "I'm tired." "Then sleep, sweetheart. I'll be right here." "You'll stay?" "I'll stay as long as you want me to." "Don't leave." "I won't leave." Sarah's eyes closed. Her breathing steadied. She was asleep. Maria whispered, "Mr. Martin, you should go home. Get some rest. You've already done so much." "Did she ask me to stay?" "Yes, but—" "Then I'm staying." Dean settled into the chair, tried to get comfortable. Dr. Chen came in with a blanket. "You're really going to sleep here?" "She asked me not to leave, so I'm not leaving." At 6 a.m., Dean Martin was asleep in a hospital chair, guitar leaning against the wall, head tilted back, uncomfortable but present. Maria took a photo. Couldn't help herself. This moment, this impossible moment. At 2 p.m., Sarah woke up. She looked around, confused at first. Then she saw Dean, still there, still in the chair. "You stayed?" Dean opened his eyes, smiled. "Of course I stayed. We weren't finished." Sarah started crying. "You really stayed all night?" "I told you I would." Nobody ever stays." Dean moved to her bedside again. "Sarah, I'm going to tell you something, and I want you to listen." She nodded. "You are the bravest person I've ever met. Braver than any soldier. Braver than anyone I know. You're fighting something terrible, and you're doing it with grace and courage and love." "I don't feel brave." "Brave people never feel brave. They just do what they have to do. And you've been doing that for 2 years." He pulled out a photo from his pocket, a headshot, signed. "I want you to have this." I wrote something on it. Sarah took the photo, read the inscription. "To Sarah, the bravest person I ever met. Love, Dean Martin." She held it to her chest. "I'll keep this forever." Dean's voice was gentle. "And I'll keep you in my heart forever. Deal?" "Deal." They spent another 4 hours together, talking, laughing when Sarah had the energy, sitting in comfortable silence when she didn't. At 6 p.m., Dean finally stood up. "Sarah, I need to go." But I'm going to come back, I promise. When? Tomorrow, if you want me to. I want you to. Dean kissed her forehead. Then I'll see you tomorrow. He hugged Maria and Roberto. Call me if you need anything. Anything at all. He left. The next morning, at 7 a.m., the hospital called Dean's house. Tom answered. Mr. Livolsi, this is Dr. Chen from Children's Hospital. I need to speak with Dean. Is Sarah okay? Pause. She passed away last night, around 11 p.m., peacefully. She was holding the photo Dean signed. Tom's voice broke. I'll tell him. When Dean heard the news, he didn't say anything, just sat down, put his head in his hands. Finally, did she suffer? No, she was peaceful, happy, talking about you, about the songs, about the stories. She died smiling. Dean nodded. Good, that's good. He attended the funeral. Private. Just family and close friends. He never told anyone about that night, never used it for publicity, never mentioned it in interviews. 10 years passed. In 1984, Maria Martinez was cleaning out old files. Found Dean's manager's phone number from that night in 1974. She called. Hello? Mr. Livolsi, this is Maria Martinez, Sarah's mother. From 1974. Tom remembered immediately. Mrs. Martinez, how are you? I'm okay. It's been 10 years. And I never properly thanked Dean. Never told him what that night meant. Would you like to write him a letter? Yes, if that's okay. I'll give you his address. Maria wrote a letter, poured her heart into it. Dear Dean, 10 years ago, you gave my daughter 6 hours of joy before she died. You didn't know her, you didn't owe her anything. But you came, at midnight, and you stayed. You sang to her, you told her stories. You read her favorite book. You held her hand when she was scared. And most importantly, you made her feel like she mattered, like she wasn't just a sick girl in a hospital bed, like she was important, special, loved. Sarah died holding the photo you signed. We buried her with it. But I didn't bury the memory of what you did. I've carried it with me every day for 10 years. When people ask me about Sarah, I tell them she was brave, that she fought hard, that she loved life. And I tell them about you, about the famous singer who came to a hospital at midnight for a little girl he'd never met. Because that's who you are. Not the cool guy on TV, not the Vegas star. You're the man who saw a dying child and gave her everything you had. Your time, your talent, your heart. Thank you. For giving Sarah the happiest day of her life, for making her last hours beautiful, for treating her like she was the most important person in the world, because to her, you were. With eternal gratitude, Maria Martinez. Dean kept that letter in his desk drawer, next to other meaningful letters, other moments that mattered. Years later, in 1993, a journalist interviewing Dean asked about his charity work. You visit children's hospitals regularly. Why? Dean was quiet for a moment. Because kids in hospitals need to know they matter, that they're not forgotten, that someone cares. Do you remember any specific visits? Dean thought about Sarah, about that night in 1974. I remember all of them. Every single one. Any that stand out? They all stand out. Every child I've met, every family I've talked to, they stay with you, forever. The journalist pressed. But there must be one that... There was a little girl, long time ago. She was dying. Wanted to meet me, so I went. What happened? We spent time together, sang songs, told stories, and she passed away. But she was happy, at the end, and that matters. What was her name? Dean smiled, sad smile. Sarah. Her name was Sarah. When Dean Martin died in 1995, the hospital held a memorial service for staff who'd worked with him over the years. Nurses, doctors, social workers, all gathering to share stories. Dr. Patricia Chen, now retired, spoke. I worked in pediatric oncology for 35 years, saw thousands of children. Too many of them died. But I'll never forget March 1974. Sarah Martinez, 8 years old, terminal leukemia. She wanted to meet Dean Martin. We called his manager, expecting nothing. At midnight that night, Dean Martin walked into the hospital. No cameras, no press, no entourage, just him and his guitar. He spent 6 hours with Sarah, sang to her, read to her, held her hand, and when she fell asleep, he slept in a chair next to her bed, because she'd asked him not to leave. When she woke up, he was still there, keeping his promise. Sarah died the next night, But she died happy. Because Dean Martin had made her feel loved. That's who Dean Martin was. Not the entertainer. The man. The man who understood that sometimes the most important thing you can do is show up for someone who needs you. Even if it's midnight, even if they're dying, even if nobody will ever know about it. Dean never told anyone about that night, never used it for publicity, just quietly showed up, did what needed to be done, and left. That's grace, that's humanity, that's love, and that's why we're here today, not because Dean Martin was famous, but because he was good. That's the story of March 1974, when an 8-year-old girl with terminal cancer asked to meet Dean Martin, when Dean could have sent a signed photo, could have made a quick visit during business hours, could have done the minimum. Instead, he showed up at midnight, stayed for 6 hours, slept in a chair, was there when she woke up. We weren't finished, and he never told anyone, because that's not why he did it. He didn't do it for publicity, for praise, for credit. He did it because a little girl asked, and he could help. And helping was the right thing to do. Sarah Martinez lived 8 years, 2 months, and 17 days. Her last day was spent with Dean Martin, singing songs, hearing stories, laughing, feeling loved, and she died holding a photo that said, "To Sarah, the bravest person I ever met." Because Dean Martin understood something profound, that fame doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter. Success doesn't matter. What matters is showing up for people who need you. What matters is keeping your promises. What matters is making someone's last hours beautiful. Sarah's mother kept that photo for 40 years. Looked at it when she missed her daughter. When she did, she remembered that night. Dean singing "That's Amore." Dean reading Charlotte's Web. Dean sleeping in a chair because Sarah asked him to stay. And she remembered what Dean had told Sarah. Love doesn't end when someone dies. Because we remember them, they never really leave. Sarah Martinez died in 1974. But she never really left. Because Dean Martin remembered her for the rest of his life. And now, decades later, we remember her too. The brave 8-year-old who loved Dean Martin's music, and the man who loved her back. Not as a fan, but as a person who mattered, a person who deserved 6 hours, and a song, and a story, and a promise kept. That's not entertainment. That's grace. That's the greatest performance Dean Martin ever gave. A performance for an audience of one. A dying 8-year-old girl named Sarah, who, for 6 hours, was the most important person in the world. Because Dean Martin made her feel that way. And that feeling, that mattered more than anything he ever did on stage.